Our next story is from another Missouri farmer, Armand Bechard and his wife Teddy. They're grass farmers. They have 117 acres in Conway in southwest Missouri. 90 of those acres are grass. And they have a herd of Jersey and Jersey cross dairy cows that turn that grass into farm fresh raw milk. 3 years ago, the city of Springfield, as well as the state of Missouri, brought legal actions against Armand and his family. Both cases began with an undercover sting operation in a parking lot. Armand will share his story with you now. Thank you.
Thank you. Whew. Hope I can get through this. I haven't been this emotional since my dad died. Powerful stuff. Well, I've been asked to share my story with you this evening, and in my opinion, it's kind of like trying to get 6 hours or 6 episodes of the Star Wars saga down into a 10-minute cliff note. But so we're going to give her a go. And I like to joke a little bit, and I do that sometimes. But this is a serious problem, like you've been told tonight. There's the excessive force of the government has just got to stop. What we do is at Bechard Family Farm, we raise 7 children. We raise 5 different kinds of meats. As our tables has there, we've got 40 fragrances of soap and 12 flavors of jam and raw milk and cream, and if you name it, we could probably do it. But we had the 2 lawsuits filed against us, and the first one was by the city of Springfield. They couldn't get me as a farmer, so they had to charge me as operating a food establishment without a permit. And being a food establishment, my milk had to be grade A. Well, it's not grade A milk, so I was in violation of the law. This was a criminal case too. It's a terrible thing selling milk. I could spend 6 months in jail for selling milk or pay a $1,000 fine. The second lawsuit was the state, where we allegedly violated I'll give you this fancy number here, 196.935 of the revised Missouri statute. And it's got pages and pages of milk laws. But the very last paragraph states, except an individual may purchase and have delivered to them for their own personal use raw milk or cream from a farm. Well, that's kind of what we hung our hat on, thinking we were doing the right thing. No mention in there about how it had to be delivered, where it had to be delivered, anything like that. And that's really the crux of the state's argument with us, is that we're delivering it to a parking lot, not to the customer's home. So anyway, that's kind of how the whole undercover sting went. That happened twice. So we really think we were set up from the beginning. And then about a week later, we get a phone call from a lady that I had known on the health department, because I'd run into her at farmers markets. And this is almost a direct quote from what she told me. This is your warning call. Sorry. My boss doesn't like raw milk in the city of Springfield. And so if you continue to deliver it, you're going to get a summons. Well, this whole thing, the tears are stuff, sorry. It just affects your whole family. So anyway, there was no mention of what law I'd broken, just that her boss didn't like it. So kind of this whole same bully effect that we've been getting told of here. So about a month later, I got a summons in the mail. I guess that meant that I didn't stop delivering, because I didn't think I had to. And then about 4 to 6 weeks later, we got a request for a permanent injunction from the state of Missouri. And what they wanted was for me to sign away saying I would never deliver milk away from my farm again, and none of my descendants that ever owned my farm could do that. I've become pretty well versed in the law. We have another law here in Missouri, 76.160, and it says a lot of things about the agriculture, but one of the things it says in there is that a farmer's cart, wagon, or vehicle is an extension of his farm. So again, we really felt we were well within the bounds of the law. But one of the things the state was asking, everything went well beyond their interpretation of the law, was way beyond what the law said. So anyway, so with the help of the defense fund, we answered their petition for this permanent injunction, and they came back and said, "Oh, that's not what we meant. His descendants could probably sell it if the law changed or something like that." So they issued us a new permanent injunction. We refused to sign it, and they'd send us another one with something a little bit different. Anyway, so eventually we reached a stalemate. And then in November of 2009, so this all starts in April of 2009. In November, it's getting kind of late in the season, and I'm covered from head to toe with the mess that you can get into from butchering 200 chickens for somebody to have a nice 200 turkeys, so that they could have a nice Thanksgiving dinner, when the telephone rings. The local TV station wants to come out and interview me. Well, my job with processing turkeys is the killing. They don't let me go to town after I've done this job. But anyway, so we called the defense fund, and they said, don't let anybody come out. You're a mess. The farm's a mess. Anyway. But the TV station calls and says, we want to come out and send a reporter and his camera crew, because the state attorney general had issued a press release. They thought they were going to just run us out of town and be the heroes of the whatever they were going to be heroes of, about this lawsuit. And it was all over this allegedly selling 1.5 gallons of this white substance that's commonly known as milk. When we would go to farmers markets before this all happened, the people there were saying, you got to watch those Bechards. They're dealing in milk. So when something like this happens to you, though, and it changes you, you'll learn a new vocabulary, a new line of thought processes. Common sense, throw it out, because these folks don't use it. You learn new words like agency and allegedly. You got to start talking kind of funny. You can't say, I don't remember, because that means you don't remember. You have to say things like, I don't recall. And that means if you showed me something, I might remember. So you kind of, you got to watch yourself, because you get yourself in a corner. Or this was my favorite one. Gary Cox told me to tell the press would ask me, what's my take on this? He said, well, you just tell them that the state's involved in illegal rulemaking and is being arbitrary and capricious. Well, I ran that by my cows one night, and they didn't give me any milk. It'll change the way you dress, too. Now, sometimes I'll wear a black jacket with this, but this is Missouri, folks. It gets hot here. But this is the way I like to dress. This is my suit and tie, okay? So, but you should have seen what Gary Cox had me wear when we were in trial for the city of Springfield. Let's just say I learned another word called argyle. And I donated it when we were done. But I might need it again. You never know. It'll change how you spend your time. You'll use a lot more paper, ink toner cartridges, printing laws, motions, memos, emails, you name it, you'll print it. We went through 2 reams of paper representing against the city of Springfield. And who knows what we'll go through with this state case. You'll find out that the judge might think you're guilty before it even starts. And he wasn't afraid to say so on the record. That was a lot of fun, and that's a story for another day. But you'll put the phone numbers of Pete Kennedy and Gary Cox and speed dial your cell phone, and lots of other people that you wouldn't normally want to talk to, but these are great guys. You'll buy this neat little video camera. I've got one that's so small, it's smaller than a pack of cigarettes, fits in your pocket. And you'll carry it around, because everywhere you go, you never know when you might need to film an encounter. You'll distrust your customers. You're wondering if they're spies or federal agents. Not that there's much difference. It'll affect your whole family. You'll see the emotional stress that it places on your children. If you've never been through depositions for a legal case, you're lucky. I mean, they make you out to be the criminal, and you're the one that's the innocent until proven guilty. But we had to take lots of breaks because the girls are even more emotional than I am. And those lawyers that twist the truth, or they'll twist the law to get you to try and say something that they can use against you, just like Joe said. But Gary Cox is the best. He looked out for us. He made sure we had breaks, and he made sure everybody was okay every step of the way. I don't know how am I doing on time. I have a couple more minutes? Okay. We in the Defense Fund, though, we kicked the city of Springfield back to where they came from pretty good. We didn't even have to put on a defense. They had such a bad case. We didn't even have to put on a defense. In the state case, Gary got the chairperson for the state milk board, this was great, to admit under oath on the record that the law they're charging me with breaking doesn't even apply to me. But in spite of that, the Attorney General thinks they've got a case. And so they petitioned the judge for a motion, and in their petition, they admit, we don't have jurisdiction here, Your Honor, but milk is a dangerous product, and we need you to step in anyway. That's not quite how they put it, but that's what they meant. They left out the chairperson's depositions, her evidence that the law didn't apply to us, so Gary made sure that got in there. 9 days ago, we had what we hope to be our final motions hearing. You know, and just a little note here, for as many motions as it takes to make something happen in the legal defense funds or the legal defense system, nothing seems to move very fast. But anyway, the judge is looking over the written evidence right now, and if he can decide innocent or guilt based on the evidence, if there's not enough gray areas there, he'll make a decision. And if not, we'll go to trial. The defense fund will be there for us, and we'll try and hold up our end of the bargain. But you never think it'll happen to you. 6 months before this happened to us, we became members of the defense fund, not thinking it was going to happen to us, but we wanted to support the organization. Who would have known that would have happened? 2 lawsuits. And it's just, I'm a farmer. I don't know if any of y'all are Christians, but well, I'm assuming most of you are. But 1 Thessalonians 4, 10, and 12 has kind of always been my motto. And that's to work peaceably, live peaceably, work with your hands. So basically so that you can win others outside to Christianity, just with your testimony of how you work and live. And that's pretty much how I try to go. Anyway, thank you, and thank you for supporting the fund.